The day after the funeral. I've already transferred the beach house to Ashley, Margaret announced, voice dripping with satisfaction. She stood in our family living room, still dressed in black from yesterday's funeral. Start packing. I didn't look up. I was sitting on the couch, flipping through an old photo album filled with summers at that very house. Memories of Dad fishing on the deck and Mom's clam chowder in the kitchen swam before me. My name is Olivia Parker. I'm 28, and yesterday we buried my father. Today, my stepmother of 5 years was already making her move. Thanks for letting me know, I said calmly, turning the page. Margaret's smile faltered. Her manicured fingers clutched her designer handbag tighter. That's it. No tears. No fight. Your father would be disappointed in your reaction. I met her eyes. He'd be disappointed in a lot of things, Margaret. Right on cue, Ashley walked in, already wearing a beach cover-up like she owned the place. According to Margaret, she did now. Mom, when can we start renovations? Ashley asked, glancing around with disdain. This decor is ancient. It's all yours, sweetheart, Margaret cooed. Olivia just heard the news. She'll be out by the end of the week. I closed the album and placed it in my bag. The end of the week. That's generous. Dad's only been gone 24 hours. Margaret's smile didn't reach her eyes. Ashley has big plans. We're turning it into a yoga retreat. That view is too good for just one family. I thought of the sunrises Dad and I watched from the deck. The little hideaway under the stairs where I kept my childhood treasures. All of it, about to be sacrificed for Instagram likes. Margaret pulled out a folder. The transfer's done. Signed and notarized yesterday before the funeral. I have power of attorney, as you know. Did know. She'd pressured Dad into giving it to her 6 months ago when he got sick. Just for medical decisions, she'd said. Mind if I look those over? I asked, reaching for the folder. After all, I work in real estate law. Margaret yanked it back. Not necessary. It's all legal. Your father wanted Ashley to have the house. When did he tell you that? Yes. Last week. At the hospital. Interesting, I said, standing. He was in a coma last week. Her face flushed, but she recovered fast. I meant the week before. Anyway, it's done. We're heading down today to start planning. I expect your things gone by Friday. Paused at the door. You know, my mom always said that house was built on stories and secrets. What's that supposed to mean? Ashley asked, finally looking up from her phone. Nothing, I said with a smile. Just a memory. Enjoy the yoga retreat. Outside, I pulled out my phone and made 2 calls. First to Betty, my mom's old friend who'd been the family's real estate agent. Then to Mr. Harrison, Dad's longtime lawyer. It's time, I said when he picked up. Already? He asked, surprised. Did she show you the papers? She flashed them. Said she used power of attorney to transfer it yesterday. Mr. Harrison chuckled. Perfect. Ready for phase 2. I looked back at the house. Margaret and Ashley were already rearranging furniture, imagining their beachside empire. Yes, I said. It's time they learned about Mom's secret deed. The next morning, Margaret sat across from Mr. Harrison, smug, until he slid a document toward her. This, he said, is the actual deed to the beach house, filed 15 years ago by Catherine Parker, Olivia's mother. Margaret grabbed the paper, her hands trembling. That's impossible. John gave me power of attorney. I had the right. Power of attorney, Mr. Harrison said smoothly, does not grant you authority over property that wasn't in John's name. What do you mean, not in his name? Ashley asked, leaning over her shoulder. I leaned back in my chair as the memory surfaced. So vivid it felt like yesterday. I was 13 when Mom called me into this very office. Sick but still strong. Olivia, she'd said, her voice gentle but firm. Sometimes we have to protect what we love, even from the people who should protect it for us. Mr. Harrison continued, his tone steady. The beach house was placed solely in Olivia's name when she was 13. A trust was established by her mother, Catherine. Jonathan was fully aware. He retained lifetime residential rights, nothing more. Margaret's face twisted. That's absurd. John would have told me. Would he? I asked quietly. Like you told him about your little yoga retreat idea? Ashley gasped. Margaret's eyes narrowed. You were spying on us. I was visiting my dying father, I said evenly. And I overheard you and Ashley discussing demolition plans 3 months before he passed. While he was still fighting to live, you were measuring his home for yoga mats. That's not true, Ashley started, but Margaret cut her off. It doesn't matter. I have the documents, she snapped, waving a folder. Legal papers showing the transfer. Mr. Harrison calmly adjusted his glasses. Those documents are void, Mrs. Parker. You attempted to transfer property you didn't own. And, he pulled out another file. Using power of attorney for that purpose could be considered attempted fraud. The color drained from Margaret's face. You're bluffing. Am I? I stood and walked to the window, watching the morning light filter through the glass. You know what's interesting, Margaret? My mother didn't just leave me a deed. She left me her foresight. She warned me someone might try to manipulate Dad. That's why she created the trust. That's why she made sure I understood property law by the time I was a teenager. That's why I became a real estate attorney. Ashley slumped back in her chair. Her Instagram-perfect confidence crumbled. Mom, what did you do? Margaret's mask cracked. I did it for you. That house was wasted on her. She never even goes there. Because I've been caring for Dad, I replied, my voice low but firm. While you were picking out tile samples, I was taking him to chemo. While Ashley designed her yoga brand, I was sorting prescriptions. Mr. Harrison cleared his throat. Mrs. Parker, you have 2 options. Sign this document acknowledging the attempted transfer was void and agree to vacate any claims, or we proceed with legal action. Margaret's hand trembled as she reached for the pen. This isn't fair, she whispered. No, I said softly. It wasn't fair when you tried to erase my family's history. It wasn't fair when you gave me 3 days to pack up a lifetime of memories. But that's why we have laws. Resign. Her name barely legible. Ashley stood abruptly. I'm sorry, she blurted. I didn't. I knew Mom had plans, but not this. Not fraud. I looked at her. Really looked. For the first time, I saw something real behind the curated facade. The beach house was never about property value, Ashley. It's about family. About love and legacy. Which is why it should stay in the family. Margaret snapped, a last gasp of defiance. It is, I said. In the family that built it. That protected it. That loved it. Mr. Harrison gathered the signed documents. I believe that concludes our business. Mrs. Parker, Ms. Ashley, I suggest you cancel any renovation plans. They stood to leave. At the door, Margaret turned back, her voice cold. You think you're clever. Just like your mother. I smiled, brushing my hand over the worn leather of the photo album in my bag. Thank you, Margaret. That's the nicest thing you've ever said to me. 1 week later, I stood on the sun-faded deck of the beach house as the morning sun painted the sea in gold and rose. The breeze smelled of salt and memory. Fishing with Dad, Mom's laughter echoing through the kitchen, my tiny footprints in the sand. Betty, our longtime family friend and the beach house's original realtor, joined me, 2 steaming mugs in hand. Your mother would be proud, she said, handing me one. She always said you had her spirit, and your father's heart. I just wish Dad had seen through Margaret sooner, I murmured, wrapping my fingers around the warmth. He was lonely, Betty said gently. He just wanted to believe in love again. John was a kind man. But Catherine, she was brilliant. She thought 10 steps ahead. I smiled, remembering Mom sitting me down on this very deck. Love, she told me, sometimes means protecting people from themselves. The screen door creaked. Turn. Ashley stepped out hesitantly. Her message asking to meet had surprised me. But there'd been something honest in it. Something different. "I didn't know if you'd actually be here," Ashley said, lingering in the doorway. "I come every weekend now," I replied, turning toward her. "Would you like some coffee?" She nodded. Betty, ever gracious, slipped inside without a word, returning moments later with an extra mug before quietly stepping away, leaving us alone with the sound of crashing waves. "I brought something," Ashley said softly, pulling a folder from her bag. "Mom doesn't know I'm here. I found these while we were packing up our things." Inside were photographs. Dozens of them. Dad in his hospital bed, smiling weakly. Me holding his hand, reading to him. Adjusting his pillows. Bringing him meals. Sitting quietly by his side during the hardest nights. "The nurses took them," Ashley explained. "They gave them to Mom, but she never showed them to me. I didn't know. I mean, I knew you visited him, but I didn't realize." "I was there every day," I said gently. "Every single day." Her eyes welled up. "While we were picking out yoga mats and paint colors. God, we were awful." I studied her face. This wasn't guilt for being caught. This was regret. "You were following your mother's lead," I said. "That's no excuse," she whispered, shaking her head. "I was so caught up in her plans. In the idea of having something beautiful, something mine. I never stopped to think about what this place meant." Betty reappeared with coffee for Ashley, then quietly slipped back inside. We stood in silence, the sea stretching out in front of us, vast and forgiving. "Can I show you something?" "Yes." Ashley nodded. I led her inside, down the hallway, and opened the hidden panel beneath the staircase. From it, I pulled out a weathered tin box. "Mom's treasure chest," I said, lifting the lid. Inside were seashells, each carefully labeled with dates and notes. "This one's from the day Dad taught me to swim. This one's from Mom's last beach walk before she got too sick. And this," I held up a flawless sand dollar, "this one's from the day they got married." Ashley reached out, gently touching the shells as if they might vanish. I had no idea there was so much history here. "That's the thing about this house," I said. "It's not just walls and windows. It's where memories live." Tears spilled down her cheeks. "I'm sorry," she said. "I'm sorry we tried to take this from you. I'm sorry I didn't stop Mom. I'm sorry I didn't know Dad better." I touched her arm gently. "The house may be in my name, Ashley. But the memories it holds, they're for anyone who wants to honor them." She looked up, confused. "What do you mean?" "I mean, you're welcome here. Not as a yoga instructor, but as his daughter. If you want to really know him, who he was, this is the place to start. We can share stories. Make new memories." Her eyes filled again, but this time with something gentler, hope. "After everything we did, you'd let me?" "Sometimes," I said, echoing my mother's words. "Love means helping people see past their blind spots." Later that morning, Ashley and I sat on the deck, sipping coffee and trading stories. She told me what little she remembered. Fishing trips, a laugh too big for such a quiet man. I shared more about his final months, the little jokes, the brave silences, the moments when he seemed most like himself. Betty joined us in the afternoon, carrying an old recipe card and a big smile. "Your mom's clam chowder," she said. "Thought it was time you both learned how to make it." We gathered in the kitchen, chopping onions and stirring the pot while the sea breeze danced through the open windows. I could almost hear Mom's laughter, feel Dad's quiet presence in the air. Margaret had tried to take this place, but she never understood what it really was. The beach house wasn't just a property to own. It was a sanctuary, of memories, of love, of legacy. And now, unexpectedly, it had become something more. A place of healing. Place for second chances. A place where even the deepest wounds could begin to mend.